Today we are opening the last mystery box of the year and doing something extra special. Hi friends, I'm Auntie Cuckoo. Welcome to my channel. Here I love all things home and decor, especially DIYing when it comes to the mystery box, which is a creative DIY challenge created by Courtney. She's creative on the cheap. We send each other a box. There are always 2 challenge items and there's a theme. It is an anything goes box. You can shop from anywhere and send items anywhere between $20 and $30. So this time around, I actually received my box from Kristen K and I sent my box over to Whitney, who is Whiskey and Wit. And you guys know the drill. I'm gonna have their channels linked down below in the description along with the playlist. Be sure to visit the playlist. It is so much fun to see what everyone sent each other. Now this time around there is a twist and it is a crafters giving back twist. I love this. So Courtney lost her mom and in honor of her mom, we are doing random acts of kindness. More on that, but let's get into our box. Do you shake your presents before Christmas? So this is from Kristen K. I've gotten to know her through these challenges and she messaged me saying that she hoped I didn't get mad at what she sent me. So there's a little wrapped note. Val, I cannot wait to see what you create. I'm so going to apologize for number 2 challenge item, Kristen. Oh, all right, so challenge item number 1 wrapped up. And this is the one. Challenge item number 2. So let's see what else she put in the box. Got some white pom-poms. Nice, very neutral. I've got a floral pick that's really pretty. And oh, these are really cute. These are from Walmart. They are little pine cone ornaments. A wood piece. I already have an idea for that. I've got a bandana that is black and some felt, very good colors. So red and white and black. I do love felt. And then a framed piece. So this is a DIY plaque and it's galvanized in the middle and I don't want to blind you guys, but that's a very nice piece to work with. She also sent me a shaped canvas that is in black. It's a round, good size, and some fabric. So let's open up this one and see. I already see that it is a truck print. How do you guys feel about the truck? More importantly, how do you feel about the gnomes? So I'm not a blue person, but this is a really pretty print. I do like those poinsettias. All right, you guys know what time it is. Challenge item. So let's start with number 1 because she was going to apologize for number 2. So challenge item number 1. Okay, it's not that bad. It's another bandana. Kristen must have had plans to go to like a 50s sock hop and she had all these bandanas and she's like, what should I do with them? Send them to Val. All right, now let's go on to number 2. Okay. Pool torpedoes. Yes, you are going to apologize. I'm just kidding. So there's no time to waste. Let's jump right into our first DIY. So I am starting with the pool torpedo. This is really fun. If you drop it, it lights up. And I had a few ideas for this, but I decided on one. And for that, I needed to take it apart. There are a few pieces in here. I'm sure that my kids would love this little light up portion. They're older, don't worry. And I am going to be using this part as well as one of the smaller pieces. Now I'm also using this ornament or hanging wood round from Crafter Square at Dollar Tree. I took that little centerpiece and I added some hot glue to it, put it right there, sort of off to the right, just a tad, and that is going to serve as an anchor for the larger head of the torpedo, which I'm adding tons of hot glue to, so that it anchors to that center portion and to the wood round. Now I took it outside and gave it a quick spray paint using some flat black paint, let it dry, and then brought it inside where I added my twine, which is something I picked up from Dollar Tree. And then I took some scissors I picked up on Amazon to add to that little hole. Now you can pick up scissors like this from Amazon, but Hobby Lobby also has them. They're very affordable, and I think they make the perfect thing to go with this little twine holder. Now I think a gift like this would be perfect for anyone who is a crafter, maybe someone who makes things and sells them. Definitely for the gardener in your life, and I love this. This is a gift from me to me. I love practical gifts, and this is something I'll use year round. But now, time for our next DIY, and for this one, I took the wooden plaque, I sanded it down, and I gave it a quick coat of some more black paint. Now this is flat black paint. I just painted it inside, used way too much, but I did paint it on both sides. Now I'm taking this set of brass wreath rings I found at the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to be using the middle-sized ring. Now, I really didn't have a big plan for this, but I knew what I wanted it to look like. So I started out with just trying some hot glue. That did not work. It is not strong enough to hold the ring by itself. So I took a few little wooden dowels from the Dollar Tree, and I just cut them down to maybe 2 inches long. Now, note to you, I don't like painting things that roll around, so I always hot glue them to a paper plate or something that I can paint them on. It works like a charm. It pops right off when they're dry, and then you just peel off the hot glue and you've got something that didn't roll around and try and get away from you. So I'm taking these little dowels that I cut down to size and painted, and I'm hot gluing them along with the ring, one on either side, and I also used way too much glue. So I do suggest using less than I did and cutting down 4 dowels, because once I had these in place, I realized I needed 2 more to cover up all the hot glue I used on the top, and I secured it with more hot glue. Now, once I got these glued down and they were fully dry, I took this little votive holder from the Dollar Tree and I just placed it here. Now you could fix it here with some E6000 or glue. I'm going to be moving this around, but I also took out some little picks that I picked up at Dollar Tree and I started creating a look of a wreath at the top. Now these picks have wires on the end, so I just wound them around the circle, and then once I needed to add a little more foliage, I pulled out some of the stuff that has fallen off of my garlands and added that in using the gold floral wire that I picked up at the Dollar Tree. Now I decided to keep mine super neutral and just using greenery, but you could add any pop of color you wanted. I think berries would be really beautiful for the holidays as well. I decided to use a little pop of red satin ribbon to mine to add a little bow detail in the center. Just be sure that the tails of your bow are short enough to use it with candlelight. You could also use a battery operated candle. Now I love this. I think this is a gorgeous hostess gift if you are going to be having Christmas or New Year's at someone's home. I think this would be a wonderful gift to give. I also think it is really thoughtful for anyone who may be missing someone this year, whether it is a family member, a friend, or even the loss of a pet. I think something like this with a really sweet note would be a very meaningful gift during a season that is so hard for many, especially those who are missing someone. And the best part was it just cost me a couple dollars to create this beautiful gift. Now on to our next DIY. For this one, I picked up one of the glass bottles you can find at the Dollar Tree. It does come with a lid and some little battery operated lights, and we're going to be using those pom-poms that Kristen sent me. I started off by adding, I think, around 8 or 9 to the bottom of my jar, and then I picked up a picture of 2 beautiful young ladies that happened to be in my life, and I trimmed it down. I just cut out a silhouette of their image, I rolled it up, and then I popped it into the jar. Now I think you have to play around with this one just a little bit to get it exactly where you want it, but it is really simple. I decided to add just a smidge of hot glue, putting it on the end of a paintbrush to brush it just on the back of the photo, and then using another paintbrush to push it into place. Once I had it just where I wanted it, I took a little bottle brush tree I picked up at the Dollar Tree. I added a dab of hot glue to the end of a skewer to push it down and have it set right on the snow. Now it's glued in place, and it was super easy to pull out the skewer. Now I am unwinding the lights, and I'm going to twirl them around my finger just to give them sort of a spiral effect before tucking them into the jar. Now, it can be a little tricky to get them exactly where you want them, so I do recommend having a wooden skewer or something long like the end of a paintbrush to just push them right into place. Once you've done that, you can add glitter or anything that sparkles and add your lid. I am so happy with how this one turned out. I think this is adorable. I think it'd be a great gift to give to a bestie or maybe your sweetie, or even send cross country to someone who you may be missing. You could definitely personalize this with any kind of message on it, or if you have a Cricut, you could print out maybe a poem and place it on it. You could also top it with some ribbon or something special. I just think that this is a very inexpensive sentimental gift for anyone on your list. Now it's time for our next DIY. And for this one, you're going to want to pick up a black bucket from the Dollar Tree. I just did a DIY on an outdoor ornament, which was a snowman. I'm reusing his hat, so I just cut off the lid of the black bucket. You can find these at the Dollar Tree all the time. I removed the handle, of course, and then I started cutting it down. Now this did crack, so you may not want to use a bucket. It's just kind of what I had on hand. You will need something fairly firm that you can mold into a cylinder. So for that, we're going to use our hot glue gun and hot glue it to itself. Now it is important that it is more wide on the top and narrow on the bottom. However you can achieve that, cut it down and hot glue it to itself. Now I'm using the felt that Kristen sent me, and I actually had to pick up another square of black felt. So these are only like 20 cents at Hobby Lobby. I would prefer a whole piece of black fabric, so if you have that on hand, that would work beautifully. And I am just covering our plastic bucket using the felt that I had on hand. Now I did have to give it a seam since it wasn't quite wide enough to cover the entire thing in one go of it, but you can buy felt by the yard at craft stores like Joann's. Sometimes you can find it at Walmart. So whatever you want to cover it with, even fabric would be fine. For this, I'm using the felt I was sent. Just secure it all the way around and have a good side and a bad side if you have to have a seam like me. Then I just trimmed it around the bottom or the more narrow portion. And then for the wider lid or top, you're going to go ahead and cut down some slits so that we can tuck it into itself, just creating a pleat or a finished edge on the wider side of your cylinder. Now, once you have that done, it's time for some embellishment. Now, I love Hobby Lobby's ribbon. They sell these little bundles for, you can get them at $2.50 when they go 50% off, in all kinds of different patterns and colors. And that's what I'm using here. I'm going to use all kinds of ribbon that I got in one bundle for $2.50. I'm going to add some around the bottom, and then I'm adding more into two stripes on, you guessed it, the hat that we are creating. This is going to be a toy soldier inspired centerpiece. So I did top off the top edge using more of my trim or ribbon. Then I took some buttons I found at the Dollar Tree, and I found 4 that were roughly the same. I took out some of my gold paint and I gave them a quick coat of paint, and I was really frustrated. I had forgotten my own advice and not glued them to my plate. So I went back and did that. Next up, I'm taking the wooden shapes that were sent to me in my first mystery box. This one came in real handy. So I glued it down, I painted it gold, and once it was dry, we're going to go ahead and add it to the top of our hat. In the meantime, we are using that round canvas that was sent to me by Kristen. Now, it did come in a 2-pack with another one, which was white, and these were originally from Michael's, I believe. They're by the brand Craftology. And for this one, I'm just adding a little bit of hot glue at a time to trim out that edge in ribbon. Now that my buttons are dry, I'm using some hot glue to fix them onto the ends of each of that piece of ribbon that I cut down for the stripes on our hat. I added them to both ends on both strips of the ribbon, and then I took some more hot glue and I added that little wooden medallion. Now you can find these in packs at the Dollar Tree all the time. I've seen them at the store myself. I added just a dab of hot glue and let that dry. Then I went in with some gems. Now I used to make cheer bows all the time when my daughter was a cheerleader, so I have lots of embellishments on hand. So I decided to add rhinestones to the top of my buttons as well, just to sort of give them a really fancy finished look. And then I took the top of my hat and the bottom, which is the canvas, and I took my hot glue gun and hot glued them together around the base. Now it's time to jazz this up and turn it into a gift. So for this, I'm using the floral pick I was sent. I did remove the white flowers. I just was not loving the look of those, and then I took them over to my island where I played around with the idea of adding a Christmas tree into it. Now you can find a fresh Christmas tree at the grocery store and add that. I think that would be beautiful as a gift. For this one, I'm creating a floral arrangement using faux greenery. So I added a little bit of floral foam into a tin that I already had on hand, and then I started adding in my greenery. Now you could definitely make a fresh arrangement and add it to this. I think that would be lovely. I had some gold picks from the Dollar Tree, and I think that those are beautiful. Those add in that little pop and bring out all the gold in the hat itself. And there you have it. It is a gorgeous hostess gift. I think something like this would be a beautiful hostess gift. Again, if you are celebrating with anyone and invited to dinner, don't go empty-handed. Be sure to put in a little bit of time and a little bit of effort, but you certainly don't have to break the bank to create something beautiful to gift your hostess. Now, I also think that anyone who loves the Nutcracker would truly appreciate a gift like this. And I can only imagine the smell of a fresh Christmas tree if you picked one up to pop it in before gifting. I love this one, but now it's time to move on to our next DIY. And for this one, you will need some cinnamon sticks. Now, Hobby Lobby has all their Christmas crafting items 60% off right now. And I also had a few glass cylinders on hand. These are so great to pick up at places like Dollar Tree and thrift stores, yard sales. And I also had some smaller cinnamon sticks from the Dollar Tree on hand. I did want to make a pair of these, and I think that these large ones are perfect for this tall cylinder I picked up at a thrift store for $1. Now I'm using my hot glue gun to secure each cinnamon stick to the glass and the cinnamon stick next to it. For that, I would recommend lining them all up to see kind of how they fit together. And once you've done that, it's time for embellishment. I'm adding just a bit of ribbon around the top 1/3 of my cinnamon vase and securing it with some more hot glue. Now I felt like it needed just a little more glam, so I did get out some thinner gold ribbon and I added that down the center of my thicker ribbon. I love picking up ribbon on clearance whenever I can find it. Now I tied it off, and then it was time to add another mystery box item. So I took out these cute little pine cones that Kristen sent me and I added those to the center before tying it into a bow. I repeated the process on the smaller glass cylinder for a smaller version, and now I have a pair that is beautiful for gifting this time of year. These smell amazing. I actually tried them with a live candle. Now these are battery operated and I think that they give off a gorgeous glow, but with the warmth of a real candle in them, they give off just a lovely cinnamon fragrance. Cinnamon is actually my favorite holiday scent. What is yours? Comment down below and let me know. I love these. These are going to stick with me for years to come. I think they are timeless. Now you could jazz up the color scheme and give them a pop of color for anyone on your list. Now it's time for more details on the twist to this year's Christmas mystery box. Now this time our twist is crafters giving back. So it is a random act of kindness. I love that for this season. It is perfect when everyone is kind of pulling their hair out to do something a little extra special that someone didn't see coming. And I firmly believe they do not have to cost you anything. It's wonderful if you can do something where you are able to pay for maybe a car behind you in the drive-through and then pass it on. But I really wanted to do something as someone who is out and about in stores all the time for those who are out there working. So one of the special things that I chose to do is each time I'm in a store and an employee this season is extra helpful, they are not ho-hum, I am going over to the customer service or calling if I'm in a hurry and asking to speak to the manager. I'm sure that it is a real dread on their part at the beginning when they think, oh, I've got to deal with a complaining customer, but I always like to do this. This is something I do year round, but I'm putting an extra nudge into it this season. I like to go over and just compliment that employee on how they helped me or how they were just kind and really skilled at their job. It is such a great way to help out those who are out there working, serving us, helping us get through the holidays and get everything we need. Now, if you're interested in doing a random act of kindness, I'm gonna have a few free options for you down below in the description. I'd love to know what you're interested in trying out this season. Now we're on to another DIY. For this one, I'm recycling those jars I keep on hand. So I'm not much of a baker anymore, but I sure enjoy eating. So for this one, I am gifting some store-bought Cowboy cookies. These are so good. I found them at my grocery store, which is H-E-B in Texas. I added them to a sterilized jar and added the lid. For this DIY, we are using that bandana that was our challenge item. And what I did is I cut off an area of the bandana to be large enough to cover the lid. Now, you could just do this by hand. I can't find my pinking shears anywhere, but if I had them, I would have used them because they would have given a really nice finished edge to this little bandana. Now, I did use a little salad plate to get just the right circle size for my jars, and then I used some of my twine to tie them off. I think this is so cute. You could mass produce all kinds of gifts by using larger containers of items because we all know money doesn't go as far as it used to. I think gifts like this are perfect for anyone in your life. You could add them to a basket from the Dollar Tree and customize them for any of your neighbors or friends. For this one, I'm thinking a theme of cowboy, so cowboy cookies, cowboy caramels, and also some cowboy treats for the little pooch in your life. Now it's time for another DIY, and for this one we are using those mini pine cones in another way. I decided to give a few of them a coat of gold paint, and I'm taking out some of these napkin rings. You can find these in the wedding section of Dollar Tree. They used to sell them in a larger pack without this embellishment. Boy, I wish I could find those now. So for this stuff is stuck on horribly, and I took them in, used my hot blow dryer to sort of melt the adhesive before removing it. Then I took a little bit of ribbon I picked up at the Dollar Tree, and I hot glued it down in 2 layers to cover the whole ring, and then I decided I needed to cover up that seam of the ribbon, so I took some more of my thinner ribbon and I hot glued that down this center seam. And then I used some of that ribbon to create a bow with my little pine cones in tow, and I used some more hot glue to glue that right onto my napkin ring. And there you have a very beautiful finished napkin ring. I would love to receive a set of these myself. I'm also using the black bandana as our napkin. It's a very affordable way to have a set of napkins on hand without breaking the bank. You can find them at Hobby Lobby for 99 cents a piece. Now it's time for our next DIY. This is a great gift for anyone on your list and another way to use those bandanas. So for this one, I picked up a 8x10 frame from the Dollar Tree. I really liked the gold edge, but not so much the faux wood tone of the frame. So I just taped it off with my painter's tape and I painted that edge black. This isn't necessary. You could just pick up a frame that you already like, but I'm personalizing this to my taste. I then removed the painter's tape and I took out that black bandana. I ironed it because I'm kind of like that. And then I grabbed a couple of mats from the Dollar Tree. They sell them on the frame aisle in packs of 2. For this, I'm just using one, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut down my bandana to fit the size of my mat. Now, obviously you could use fabric or anything you had on hand, even recycled fabric from things you may have needed to discard, like old jeans would be a really fun project for this. So once I had my bandana trimmed down to the correct size, I used my hot glue gun to secure that bandana or fabric to my mat. Now you should cut out the center of your fabric before you glue it down. I skipped that step and regretted it. It was totally fixable. Just make an X with your scissors and go in and trim out a square. Then I just glued down all of the corners of my fabric and then the sides one by one with my hot glue gun. And yes, you see a little iron there off camera. I did iron this before starting and kind of step by step just to get nice creases. Then I cut out a square and I did the same process of gluing the sides down first, and then I left little squares in the corner that I went back and I snipped at a diagonal to hot glue them and give them a nice finished crease. Now that my mat is finished and my frame is done drying, I pulled off my painter's tape, and this is very important. Remove your glass, clean it, but add your mat in before you add your glass. Now that is a picture of my littles when they were very little. Then go ahead and add your photo and the backing. And I don't know about you, but I love receiving photos as a gift. I think putting in the extra time and effort to create something custom like this is a beautiful and affordable way to give a photo this holiday season. Now on to our last DIY. For this one, it is so simple. I just grabbed a basket, I added some bags in for height, and we're using that truck fabric. Now this is something I've been wanting to do for years, so thank you, Kristen, because you are helping me finally tackle this project. Now during the holidays, I don't know about your home, but we're receiving quite a few boxes, and I thought it would be a great way to say thanks to all those delivery people out there. So I added a few simple things from my pantry, some water bottles, some chips for the salty lovers, and then some little Teddy Graham style snacks for those who have a sweet tooth. And I decided to personalize this by going inside to my computer, hopping on Canva and creating an image that I then sent over to Walmart and had printed for $1. I had measured this frame that Kristen sent me, and the inset is 8 by 8 inches. So that's how I had my image printed. And then I just picked it up and placed it right inside. Now I'm using some of these magnets from the Dollar Tree to secure it in the corners. That way I can reuse this sign for other occasions down the road. And then I just simply set the basket and the sign out front. I do have a ladder back chair by my front door, which I think is the perfect way to display this for all of our delivery drivers. I'm so grateful for them for saving me all those trips to the store. And that does it for this mystery box and this mystery box challenge year of 2022. A huge thank you to Courtney for inviting me to be a part. This is one of the highlights of my year. I think it is so much fun. I hope you guys enjoyed getting to know me. Be sure to follow the playlist and follow anyone else you see on that list that you're not familiar with for some more fun DIY inspiration. I hope you all have a wonderful, happy, healthy, and safe holiday. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you back very soon.
Merry Christmas, baby. Reindeer's coming out to play. Santa Claus is packing the presents, making sure you've been behaving okay.